Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Aaron Trevino down in the beautiful state of Texas. We are talking to Poulina Kalushner from Philadelphia. She does deals in a lot of different places, and I'm interested in what she has to say. So, Poulina, pleasure to have you on the show today.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I'll be happy to answer all the questions. My company name PK Capital Funding, and I'm in business for 32 years. Actually, January 14 was 32 years. Time flies when you have fun.
Ain't that the truth? Time flies when you have fun. And speaking of fun, there's been a lot of fun going on really the past few months with the economy, right? This new administration, the election, a lot
Sure.
happening in the financial markets. People want to know about lending. People want to know what's going on and how they can make 2025 a great year. How can they how do you think that a real estate investor can equip themselves to be successful this year?
I mean, it's sort of, I look at things differently. So I look at things, we have to adjust to changes, right? So if you live in an apartment and then you have a big house, you have to adjust to bigger space or other way around. People have to learn a little bit about funding, and they have to talk to professionals, me or other people who in business for a very long time, because not everybody has the right picture, and not everybody understand how funding works, and then they go on the wrong sort of path and make mistakes. So you can talk to one person, to another person. My main thing is to educate the client if the client want to be educated, right? But if the client doesn't even want to listen or learn, I mean, I was very fortunate. I always had, good people and clients who actually appreciated my honesty, and there is no hidden stones or anything. Everything explained. I explained before we even start working. So a client has to educate himself to make the right decisions and the right choices.
Absolutely. And in terms of education, let's say we have the education, what sort of deals are you actively funding, or are there any particular types of deals that you see that will be popular this year in 2025?
Sure. It's a good question. I mean, I'm with my team. We found fix and flip 100%, even if you don't have any experience. You just bring money for closing. It's a lot going on. We found construction, development. So I do deals from 200,000 up to 50 billion. I have like three layers, right? One for a smaller consumer, another one 5 million and up to 100 million, and another 100 million up to 50 billion. But what I see in a range from 200,000 up to 100 million, this is going to be a hot market. 100 million up, this is a special client. But mostly construction, development, account receivables, it's very popular. Equipment, people need equipment, they need funding for equipment. It's all, sort of everybody has to go with times, and they have to restructure their business and their point of view. They have to go, you know, with time and adjust to changes.
Absolutely. And out of curiosity, I know you mentioned how the fix and flip didn't require any experience. Is there some sort of experience requirement for new construction or development?
Okay, so that's a terrific question. Fix and flip, it's one program. Construction development, it's another. So let's look at fix and flip. You do not have to have experience. You need to have, let's say you found a house, right? Hypothetically, $200,000. You have to do your due diligence. If you're going to fix it and put $50,000, how much this house going to worth on the market when you're going to sell it? It's called ARV, finish up value. You have to work with licensed contractor, because you must, present the paperwork, and the lender will do their due diligence. And you have to see what's going on in this area, how much this house is going to be appraised, and so forth. But the client can have experience, no experience. We don't ask for any, income tax as long as their credit score a reasonable 620 and up. They can buy a house, work with professional realtor, and fix it and flip it, and just bring money for closing. It's really incredible program and gives opportunity for people who don't have experience to sort of stay on the same level who has, and of course work with right professionals, right? Like with somebody maybe already take a partner who would advise about construction, have a good team who going to do the work in the house. But overall, it's a very easy step if you find the right property to buy. And construction, it's another situation. If people want to do construction, they must have experience. It's a must, because if I'm a mortgage broker, what do I know about construction, right? I know about beautiful house. I can walk and say, "Oh my God, this is beautiful," or "This is not really pretty," but I don't know how to build a house, or multifamily or anything. Multifamily is actually very hot on the market right now. Multifamily, we do different. We provide different funding for warehouses, multifamily, condos, office building, and so forth and so on. People can go on my website and take a look. It's www.ekcapitalfunding.com. So we provide different varieties and different. I work with 325 different mortgage companies, family offices, private lenders, hedge funds, and so forth. Why people? Maybe you can ask me a question. Why people would come to me as a boutique funding company per se, mortgage broker? Because I know the market. I'm in business for 32 years. I know excellent companies and everything, and great products, and I can shop. If you go to one bank, right, they have one product or maybe five products. That's about it. And if you go to a bank and if you want to, let's say, buy a hotel for $100 million, they're going to say you have to put 35% down minimum. I can do it with only 5% down, or an interest rate 5%. So there is many different sort of layers in our business. And it took me years to know what I know, and I'm always learning because it's new products, new companies, and so forth.
Absolutely. And I'm curious to get your perspective on this, just given that you work, it sounds like, on the private money side and the conventional side.
Correct.
One big question I've heard is, hey, when do I know that this is a private money deal versus when do I know that this is a conventional bank deal?
Well, I mean, of course. First of all, I disclose to the client when the client send me the package and paperwork, and I go over it. I tell him, what kind of a structure we can do and how it's going to work. For the client to go to the bank, he has to be absolutely perfect. He has to have credit score 680, 700, and he has to have big down payment. Plus, the bank always going to ask for income tax for 2 years, if it's self-employed for 3 years. So it's a more, so to speak, more work for the client, and not everybody feels comfortable, and to put big down payment and to go through paperwork like income tax and so forth. I work with clients. I even have clients 500 credit score, and we don't ask any income tax. So it depends on what client brings to the table, right? And based on that, what he's looking for, we try to match it and make it work.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. And just out of curiosity, regardless of what type of deal is, it could be a flip, it could be ground up construction, development, hotels. Are there any common mistakes or issues that you see that investors or developers could run into when doing these sorts of deals?
Yes, lately, somebody called me today. People try to get 100% funding. 100% funding exists when we're talking about fix and flip. If we're talking about, let's say, somebody wants to have a deal, 500 million green energy, right? Or, I mean, I do gold mines, casinos, resorts, and so forth. There is different programs with minimum a little, minimum 5% down. But the thing is, client has to educate himself. Sometimes clients say to me, yes, Paulina, I have experience. But I said, yeah, you were a builder 20 years ago, but since then, many things change, right? Everything changes every year. So um, the problem is they do not do enough due diligence, or they think that the way the experience they had, that's what is going to occurred right now. But things changing, many lenders, especially after COVID, they restructure their lending programs and structure differently. Their requirements are differently. So you have to go, sort of next to new changes and accept it, not to live in the past and think that the way, and people sometimes don't listen. Like somebody emailed me today, it's a gold mine or whatever, and the guy said, I don't want to pay any upfront fee. I said, I don't charge any upfront fee, but I don't want to pay any appraisal, any processing fee. I said, it doesn't work like this. You go to the doctor, right? Doctor draws the blood work and does everything. You pay for it, right? Or insurance pay for it. But people work. I mean, lenders, my processors, we all work, but I do not charge any upfront fee whatsoever. But if the lender has to order appraisal, and we're talking about specific deal gold mine, certain reports has to be done. So certain things people do not realize that has to be done until you're going to even move forward. Nobody going to give you millions of dollars and do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that appraisal too is also, it sounds like to the investor, the developer's benefit, right? They would naturally want that because that's in their favor
Correct.
too.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Yes. Yes. And people need to if they, let's say, have experience for a couple of years, maybe they should go in business with somebody else who has experience for 25 years. And I understand everybody wants to have 100% to themselves, but if you have 100% of nothing, you get nothing, right? If you don't structure correctly, if you don't have the right construction company, or you overprice for the land. And people sometimes think that, to buy the land, they need only 10% down. But a regular purchase, it's between 50 to 40% down. It's standard requirements. So,
Fair enough. I mean, how would that work in turn? I'm just thinking of someone for the first time trying to get started, but
sure.
also looking to be a borrower for the first time. If I, hypothetically, if I had a deal, I had a little bit of money, and really no experience. If I did partner up with someone who was an investor or a developer, is there some sort of joint venture agreement, or how do you see your clients structuring their deals to get in for the first time?
Well, so first of all, what are we talking about? You talking about building something that you have no experience, or you talking about fix and flip? Let's
Uh,
start with,
oh, sorry,
s-
building something.
okay, building. So here's the situation. Let's say, for example, I'm a builder, right? And I have 15 year, 20 years experience. You come to me, Aaron, and you say, Paulina, I would love to be a partner. And I'm going to say, terrific. Give me one reason why. You have no experience. You have a couple $1,000s. Why do I need you as a partner? Do you understand? Make sense?
Sure.
So you have to bring to the table, you have to bring money to the table.
Hmm.
And you're going to say, I'm going to work 24/7, but I'm going to tell you, you don't know what you're doing. So you can work 24/7 and 24/8. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's my humble opinion. You have to bring something to the table for another person who has experience, connection, and everything to bring you into the team, right? That's what I see before. Or maybe you have a friend who's going to say, you know what, I will help you on the first couple of deals. And, you have money, I have experience, and we just split. I don't want to know nothing about it. It's none of my business. People open LLC, and most of the companies would like to close in LLC name. And
Hmm.
they make structure between them, and they show us actually on LLC what is the structure will be 80/20 or 50/50. This is between among them. I have nothing to do with their decision to move forward. I mean, that's how people should start. But I would advise to start first, fix and flip, get a little experience here, and then slowly you can grow and you can go. I mean, if you're lucky, you meet somebody who has experience and who would like, to join, his team. But again, it depends who you meet in life and how lucky you are.
Yeah. No,
What
I'm
connections you have. Yeah.
sure. I'm just always curious because I've heard so many different scenarios just from people over the years of hey, I know this local market really well, or I have access to land, but I have no experience, or I'm low on money, or something like that. So just trying to see how our audience can partner with different people.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have access to certain things, so if you're gonna meet somebody and you're gonna say, listen, you have experience 20 years of construction, but I have connections, something, let's say, land off market, or you can bring some kind of a value. If this person, that's what they're looking for, and if they need your, sort of your connections, maybe they will take. But again, I don't get involved in this. I get involved in guiding them. What is the best program to take? How to structure the deal? What is the best, sort of scenario? And we talk about it and how the deal has to be done because construction goes into phases. I have lines of credit for experienced, builders, up to 5 million and more. It all depends. There is a lot of different programs. Sometimes people call me and say, what programs you have? I said, okay. It's like you go to the supermarket and you walk in and say, what do you sell here? you know, with 325 different, lenders and so forth, I have so many programs that it's impossible to say. You have to know the client, consumer has to know exactly what he's looking for. If you're ready, if you give me scenario. I mean, I always talk to people, I guide them, give them advice, and it's up to them to do what they want to do. But they have to be ready and sort of have, papered up and be ready to move forward before they come to me.
Sure. And I guess that's the benefit of working with a broker, right? You're not tied to one particular product or, five products like you said
Correct.
before. You have access to much more.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the store and you want to buy shoes, right? You don't want to go to the store where it sells only one shoe, right? You have nothing to try on. But I mean, I have very creative team and I do it for many, many years. So we look at ups and downs. So you don't have a good credit score, right? And you don't have experience. So, and you want to do this and that and so forth. We'll advise you how to do it, but you cannot just come with a dream is a dream. You have to bring something to the table, you know. But people start somewhere, they join different networking events, they meet different realtors or different investors, and they hook up, and people help each other, and I think that's terrific. So, but not everybody is lucky, but takes time. Sometimes takes time. Sometimes you can meet somebody and go slowly. But anyway, it's a learning process because it's a lot of things in real estate. Consumer has to know a lot of things.
Absolutely. And one big thing that people keep talking about is interest rates. And I'm curious, obviously, no one has a crystal ball to see what this year has in store for us. Um, but what do you make of where interest rates are now? And then where do you think they could go in the future?
I mean, I think interest rate going to go down a little bit. It's all going to depend on economy. You know, we have to go through sort of curing ourselves of, you know, economy has to go up and many things has to stabilize. When people ask me what is the interest rate on the market, you would never believe my answer. I say I don't care, and I really don't care. You know why? Because if you have to eat and you're really hungry, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go buy food and you're gonna eat, right? If you have no money, you're gonna starve. So if you look at the incredible project and great opportunity, what is $100 a month or a couple $100 a month, or if it's a bigger deal, what does it make a difference if you gonna make it's gonna be incredible outcome? Financial a financial great outcome for you. So people hold on to this idea and interest rate. I have client who buys 5 to 10 houses a month. And before he met me, he would pay around 16% interest rate. And I said, well, with me, you pay like, 9.5. And he said, yeah, Paulina, I'll go with you. And actually he did. But he said, I really don't care because I spend $1,000 more, but I'm making thousands of dollars. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So everybody have different perspective on things. Um, I think when people understand the way things work, uh, you know, if you want to go into business, you know that you should take risk, any kind of business, correct? Doesn't matter what you do. Even if you buy an established business, still you're not the owner. Before it was somebody else with different point of view and different understanding how to run business. So business can lose money. So you really have to understand the worst case scenario. If I'm going to get in with 100% financing, when I'm buying a house and I just bring money for closing, let's say 5%, pathetically, when I'm going to sell it, I'm going to make $60,000, $70,000, and I did my due diligence with realtor and everybody. Is this good for me? I think that's terrific, you know? Or if I'm going to make $20,000, I would not even touch the deal because there is no spread there. So that's what you have to look at, because people, if you buy primary residence, I totally understand. You have to look at the interest rate, but I'm talking about no income verification loans, low credit score and so forth. You cannot be actually picky. We don't ask for 700 credit score sometimes on a lot of deals. We don't ask for your income tax. You have to put like minimum down or no down. So you cannot complain about interest rate. Like something has to give, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
Yeah, that's a great perspective too, because you don't hear that every day. At least in the media, there's a lot of, I don't know what they use, scare tactics to get people to click on stuff, or they say, hey, absolutely no one's gonna be buying or whatever, whatever crazy stuff you see online. But it makes you think, hey, a good deal is a good deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everything for sale, as we say, right? But do you think I mean, I think consumers should think, is it good for me to buy this product?
Mm.
What's the outcome going to be for me? When you think about outcomes, and you just look at things, you have different perspective and you look at things differently. I mean, that's what I would say. Or if somebody going to say, "Oh, I can go to the bank," terrific. You go to the bank again. I don't want to repeat myself, but you go through this, you know, up and down steps, and you having a headache and so forth. I mean, certain banks are terrific, but first of all, it takes very long time. Like an example, there are certain banks that do fix and flips. They need 20% down. I can do 100% down on purchase, 100% on rehab, and minimum credit score 620, and I don't need your income tax. So there is, I am more volatile, so to speak. The products we have, it's very aggressive, and it's more accommodating to the clients. We can do Airbnb. Somebody wants to go and buy investment property and do Airbnb. That's terrific. It's a great program. We have a lot of clients who's doing that. So it depends. You have to find the right place. You can try this a little, that a little, and then you click and say, you know what? I found something that actually works for me. It's financially, I have financially, secure. I have great cash flow, and it's just terrific. I love it. So not everything for everybody,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, there's not a one size fits all. It's all personal.
Exactly, exactly. Somebody, build casinos. I deal with this too. Somebody, do like very inventive products. Somebody have business and they need account receivables, funding for that. So it's all different things. Depends on the consumer, depends on the client. But if a person has no knowledge, no money, no experience, my advice is to find somebody who can guide them, and they have to learn. You know, this is the best way instead of just wasting your time. That's what I
Sure.
would advise.
Sure, that's some great insight there. Paulina, is there anything that you haven't said that you'd really just like to tell our audience?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody need any kind of, you have projects that you don't know what to do, like you want to buy something you had experience in the past or whatever, occurred in your life, and you have you're looking for the right program. Um, I mean, we provide funding for land, for warehouses, condos, that you're not sure which way to go. You bought something, you want to refinance, you don't want to show your income, you didn't do your income, or your credit score is low. Don't hesitate to call me because we have very aggressive products, and there is many things I do. So please go on my website www.pkcapitalfunding.com. Home care. Sorry, just remember.
Yeah.
We do home care, restaurants, and so forth. So there is many products, and I didn't even put 100% of what I do on my website because people get lost. Just email me. That's the best way because sometimes physically I cannot even pick up the phone. We're so busy. Email me, and I will be happy. Send me a summary, and I will be happy to respond. We don't charge any upfront fee, but I always try to respond to my clients within 24 hours, the most 48.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'll definitely have your information in the show notes. So if someone does want to connect with you, they can definitely reach out. Paulina, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better and what you do, the different products that you offer, and the ability of working with a broker who has access to different products, and you just explaining how people can succeed. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. By the way, I never say I'm a lender because some brokers say, yes, I'm a lender. I never say I'm a lender.
Hmm.
It's against the law, and I have reputation. And honestly, I think this is the first thing that people should look for. Thank you so much for having me. Greatly appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Paulina. We'll talk to you later, guys. Signing off here. We will have Paulina's information in our show notes, and we will talk to y'all next time.
Thank you.